Alright, yo, what's going on, everybody? Swagkage here, and welcome to today's video where I'm going to be talking about something that's a little bit weird. I didn't expect to be talking about this, like, ever in my entire life, but, well, if you follow me on Twitter, you already know about this, but I'm writing my own manga series, and as you can tell by the title, I don't think I needed to say that, but yeah, and I'm really serious about this, this isn't something that I'm just, like, saying, it's not one of those things where I'm pretty sure everybody's gone through this, where they're, like, super excited, they're dead set on doing something, and it's gonna be something huge, they're pursuing something, they're starting something up, and then, they just sort of forget about it or let go of it. No, like, I really, really, really want to make this happen, make this a success, make this a reality, because I've never really spoken about this before, but I've enjoyed writing for pretty much my entire life, right? So this isn't a story that I'm coming up with as we speak. This isn't a story that that I've just created the foundation for or anything like that. I've been thinking about well, I started like seriously working on it maybe like a year ago, or at the very least at the beginning of this year, but I've had the concepts for it floating around in my head since maybe like 2014, and this would be like the fourth or fifth different story that I've started working on. I just love creating characters, worlds, and stuff like that, so I'm super passionate about this, right? I would love for nothing more than for this to be a success and become its own source of income, so I could just continue writing manga forever, because, as much as I love YouTube, writing has always been like my #1 passion, and becoming a manga author, especially as somebody who lives in the US, I mean, that would be crazy. That's something I never even thought I'd be able to do, but I found this artist. I'm not drawing it, as I feel like I need to clear that up, but I have this really talented artist who's going to draw every single chapter in full color. Now, because of that, I have to pay the artist out of my own pocket, so it'll probably be a while before this thing starts to pay for itself. So I'm thinking of starting up a Patreon or something like that, or maybe switching the Patreon that I currently have into one that supports the manga. I know I have plenty of you guys who support me there, and if you want to stop if I do decide to do that, then by all means go ahead, but I don't have so many people supporting me over on the Patreon that I feel like I would be doing anybody a disservice if I changed it, and it would just really help me out, because like I said, I'm paying out of my own pocket, and each chapter it's going to be a little bit expensive. I won't say like how expensive, but I'm paying a decent chunk of my own paycheck for 20 to 40 pages each month. And by the way, the series is going to come out one chapter per month, at least at the beginning. If it does end up becoming its own revenue stream, I will be able to release chapters more frequently, because I'll be able to get my artist to work full time. But until that happens, for now it's just going to be, one chapter every month, and then once I release 8 chapters, I'll release the first volume. I'll release it digitally on like Kindle and Comixology and all that, and then I'll release the first physical volume on Amazon, I guess, if I get enough support for that, and if the series hasn't already died down. I just need enough support from you guys to make sure that ends up happening. So, I mean, yeah, it's really all up to how interested you guys are in this. So let me go ahead and stop talking about all the logistics behind it and just take a little jab at the sort of stuff you're going to be expecting here. So it's in a fantasy setting, and it's also a shonen. It's a fantasy shonen set in this world that's I guess it's this blend between medieval and Victorian. It's pretty gothic. There are a lot of cultures spread across the world, so it'd be a bit difficult to give you an idea of what the entire world is like. You have there are a bunch of different races. There are like fish people, skeleton people, regular humans, elves. There's this really wide variety of different kinds of humanoids in there, and on top of that, there are also a whole bunch of like different feral, non-human species, but that's not what I'm talking about here. The cultures vary between different races based on location. So you have some that are primarily influenced by Spanish culture or Mexican culture. You have some that's influenced by Welsh and Scottish or Norse culture. Some that's influenced by like ancient Rome. Some that's influenced by Japan, stuff like that. So there's a lot of the world varies just in terms of like climate, civilization, all of that, all around it. But for the most part, it takes place on one continent in the center of the map, and I guess even across this one continent, there's a whole bunch of variety between like cultures, just because of all of the different countries spread out across it. But the main character's human, so he's it'll be easy to understand his background, where he comes from, and all that. He's a little kid named Jato. I don't want to spoil too much about the story, but he's got a very standard generic goal, and I'm aware that it's pretty predictable. It's sort of like Ash or Naruto or Gon or whatever, you know, who want to become very great, I guess, warriors in their own world. Gon wants to become a hunter. Naruto wants to become the Hokage. That sort of thing. Jato wants to become what is called a Sothar in this world. It means champion's art. And so there are different ranks. Like in Naruto, you have Rethar, which means low art. Vthar, which means middle art. Gthar, which means high art. Kthar, which means peak art. Gevthar, which means divine art. And then Sothar, which means champion's art. And that's what Jato wants to become. And so the story's going to follow him, but there are plenty of other characters that I plan on introducing. And again, it's very simple in concept, but because of how big the world is, I plan on doing a whole lot with it, playing with a whole lot of tropes and concepts, maybe deconstructing some tropes, maybe flipping some concepts on their head. You know, I just want this to be interesting. I want this to be enjoyable. I have a really cool power system in mind. Everybody in the world is born with a unique superpower. I guess it's sort of like the power system from Hunter x Hunter. Basically, people are born with an affinity for one of 24 different classes, all of which are labeled with one of the 24 letters of the Greek alphabet, and based on what class a person is born with, they can develop their own superpower within the boundaries of that class. So you have the fundamental class, which it just deals with powers that manipulate fundamental universal forces like light, like gravity, or other things like telekinesis and stuff like that. Then you have class beta, which is the conjuration class, which it just has to do with creating and conjuring different objects or even like other creatures or people. Then you have the class gamma, which is the enhancement class, which just deals with enhancing a person's physical capabilities and so on and so forth. And then there are plenty of powers that have their foundations in one class but overlap with a whole bunch of others. So, you know, I think the power system is pretty fun, and it'll lead to a bunch of really cool fights, especially with this artist I have. I mean, like, I cannot stress enough how impressed I am with this guy's art. Like, it's I feel like it's going to carry the manga if my writing doesn't turn out to be very good. I mean, I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping you guys like what I have set up. You know, I'm aiming to make this as entertaining as possible. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to ask me in the comments below. I'm going to try to avoid spoiling too much. You know, I don't mind giving everybody a basic idea of what the world is like, of what's going on with the story, of, you know, like, what's going to happen with the manga, how I'm going to be releasing it, how I'm going to be monetizing it, how I'm going to keep it going, how I'm going to support it, all that stuff. But, you know, no spoilers. Don't ask me what's going to happen at this point in the manga or any, because, you know, I'm not going to answer that. I don't want to ruin it before it's even been released. But I do have high hopes for it. I hope you guys are excited. It's going to be very similar in tone, spirits, or whatever, to Naruto and Hunter x Hunter. Primarily to, I guess, early Naruto, in the sense that it's going to be very gritty and grounded. At least that's my goal. I'm not saying like gritty and grounded is objectively better than any other kind of story or anything like that, but, you know, that's the feel that I want to go for. I want things to feel like they have consequences. I want the audience to always be aware that the protagonist is constantly in danger and that there's a threat of failing, a threat of death, all that stuff. Obviously, there's going to be humor and lighthearted elements in there, but at this point, I think I'm rambling a bit too much. I think I've gone on long enough about this, but yeah, let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this, if you're willing to support it. Follow me on Twitter if you want more updates. Let me know what you guys think about the idea of a Patreon, and if that gets enough support, then I'll go ahead and start one up immediately, and I'll let you guys pledge to it. I have a whole bunch of rewards planned. Like, if you pledge like $10 a month, you'll get a free copy of each digital volume when it's released. $25 a month, a free autographed physical copy every time it's released. You know, stuff like that. You know, I've got like sketches, character designs, concept art. I'll give a whole bunch of that stuff out if you guys pledge to it. But again, that's only if you guys think it's a good idea. If a whole bunch of you say, no, we don't want a Patreon, then I won't bother with one, and I'll try and figure out how to get, how to support the manga through other financial routes, I guess. Those are the only real important things that I have to ask you guys about. What do you think of the manga? What questions do you have? And, you know, are you willing to support it via something like Kickstarter or Patreon? Anyway, so thank you guys, as always, for watching this video all the way through to the end, especially this one in particular. You know, it means a lot to me that you made it this far, because I am super passionate about this. I really want this manga to succeed, and so far the support I've received on like Twitter and even on Discord and stuff has been overwhelming. But what's really going to make a difference is my YouTube audience deciding that, you know, they want to stick with this. But okay, yeah, I'm rambling. I'm pretty sure all of you guys have left by now. So till my next video, I'll talk to you later. Sorry for no Naruto video today. I promise I'll get one out on Friday. But yeah, till then, for real, talk to you later. Swagkage out. Bye.